A new report by nonpartisan government watchdog group Open the Books shows the Biden administration has spent hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars on research related to misinformation, an almost 4,000% increase from Trump's first term. For more on the findings, we're joined today by the Open the Books CEO John Hart. John, it's staggering when you look at the chart of what was spent. Starting in 2017, it was just over 300,000 by the first Trump administration. Then you get to 2021 and it's over 126 million. What do you make of what you found?
Yeah, that's right, Griff. It's great to be on. Look, what our report shows is that the government is using your tax dollars to silence your voice. And so since 2021, as the graph showed, the Biden-Harris administration spent about $267 million to combat what they call disinformation, or misinformation rather. And in the digital age, misinformation and lies are a real problem. But the role of government is to secure our liberties, not to censor our language. And the problem is when you give government the power to police what they call misinformation, they're going to pull a lot of valuable information and perspective out of the public square. So the best way to counter misinformation and lies is with more information and more debate and not less. And what the government has done is put an ideological filter, and they've censored information they don't like. And that's a serious problem and abuse of power.
Well, and that's the key point, I think, John, is that while they're spending all this money, they were collaborating with tech companies like Zuckerberg's Meta and others to silence and to censor critics. In fact, constitutional law professor and Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley agrees with you. Listen here.
The Biden administration is, in my view, the most anti-free speech administration since the Adams administration. It has helped fund this massive censorship system that a federal court called perfectly Orwellian.
You think that this is going to continue to be looked at with the incoming Trump administration?
No, I think DOJ is going to take a very hard look at this, and they're going to clamp down on this kind of spending. And a good example is we think back to the COVID days, particularly the early days. There were a lot of concerns that putting masks on toddlers, particularly toddlers with developmental issues, speech impairments, was going to set them back. And those concerns were described as misinformation at the time. And we now know, in fact, some of those policies did, in fact, cause additional developmental delays and issues. So parents who are dealing with those struggles, the last thing they need is a government bureaucrat or a tech company telling them they can't voice concern about their child's development. And again, it's a total abuse of power. And if you want to have a debate about science, you need more information. You don't need to clamp down. And it's totally outside the government's role. Again, their job is to secure liberty, not to censor our language.
It's remarkable findings. Open the Books is the group. John Hart, I hate we have to cut it short there, but we've got to go to a press conference. Thank you for taking time.